Hello, everybody, first of all, and thanks a lot for joining this session today. Of course, I'm really proud to be here and to visit again this city. And I have also the chance to meet my colleagues and my friends there. Let me also thanks the people who organized this event because I mean they did already a great job as you have seen listened today. Um, is also I would like to be really very transparent for you with you. This is my first speech at all, so and the first time talking in front of such a huge and also talent audience. So thanks. So I mean, from your side, I need just a bit of patience, and I'm sure that while we talk, it will get better and better. It's really, anyway, amazing already for me. So let's maybe start with a very quick introduction by myself. My name is Anibal Dos Santos, and despite my Portuguese name and surname, I'm Italian. I work in Milan, even if I live a bit far away from that city, close to the Lake of Como, for those who are familiar with this context. Um, let's say I started as a C and COBOL programmer somehow on 1998, really a lot of time ago, and mainly working on the financial sector, so on this type of industry. In 2000, I joined the Deutsche Bank family, and I was hired as a Java developer. So during this now 17 years, I had the chance to participate, to take part of a lot of projects, a lot of interesting initiatives worldwide, and I had the chance to take different roles, as you can see there. So IT infrastructure architect, solution architect, and project manager as well, and so on. But one of the interesting one was the innovation role, which I took for a couple of years. During that time, I had the chance to work with different people coming all around the world together in groups and working in interesting ideas and aim to develop the ideas and achieve sometimes solutions or even new products. That's really something which changed completely my way of see all the stuff. Um, Currently, I work as a lead engineer on the digital banking area. Okay, coming back to the topic. The main idea of this speech is to share with you my experience, and whatever you will see there, it's mainly reflected my personal experience and my personal view. Um, it's just a way to make all this experience available for you, and of course, in turn, I need something from your side, is maybe to get additional point of view, additional idea, or to start any kind of a discussion. Maybe if it's not possible real time, we can do offline during the networking session. I guess it's after the next speech. Um, Before moving on with the next slides, let's set maybe the context. I would like to give you just a very quick overview on the IT landscape of traditional banks, again, based on my experience. And during the today workshop, I guess you will have the chance to see a lot of technical details. But whatever I will show, you can see as opportunities or as challenges. I would like anyway to make you aware of the how banks see technology. So how bank differs, maybe differ from in the technology stack, and in short, what can be the potential opportunity for us as a developer. Um, it will be like a very quick, small journey, starting from the traditional former landscape till the digital evolution. Um, Maybe, as you know, several traditional banks are mainframe based. So I don't know, for historical reason, they have all this type of big racks on the data center, and they somehow run a different operating system, a virtual machine on top of it, and of course they manage a lot of data. Even operating systems such as Linux, which maybe are well known than the other one, can run on it. But of course, when it comes to, let's say, the main used programming language in the bank, it's about COBOL. So 85% of the software running on mainframe is written in COBOL around. On the other side, as you can understand, COBOL is not really the type of skill we need when we talk about digital, of course. So think about mobile application. For those who have already developed application like that, I mean, it cannot be used. Moreover, one of the interesting stuff is because of this step-by-step development, a lot of applications were built like a monolithic application. So very hard to make the application talking together. Maybe the single application, it works perfectly. It does what it was developed for. But when it comes, when we talk about reusability, then this is an interesting challenge. And for those who are young as I am, maybe this picture can look quite familiar. So this is about the way applications are consumed on mainframe. So we have this interesting user terminal, which is something called 3270. So it's basically a kind of screen which allow to interact with kicks. So kick is nothing than, let's say, a kind of real-time transaction management. So it's basically managing the connectivity between the clients and the kicks middleware. It is a middleware like maybe WebLogic or WebSphere or something like that. So it's a kind of. At the end, all these applications are consumed real time, and the Kix is designed for high volume transaction management. And the main used database on this type of environment is DB2, and online and batch mode are supported as well. This is the traditional bank IT landscape in a nutshell. Of course, all the banks have also open systems such as Linux or Windows boxes and so on. I'm quite sure that all the banks have already online web product. But what I'm trying to do is to simplify a bit this IT landscape, and then to make you aware during the next slides on what can be the potential challenges. Maybe you got already some idea from that. So of course, I was talking about COBOL. It's one of it. I'm not saying that COBOL is not it's not good. I'm just saying that good programmer in COBOL are always welcome for sure. But when it comes to digital development, I guess we need other type of skills, other type of development tools as well. At the end, my personal view is that we do also need additional framework as well, and maybe also invest a developing framework or enhanced framework is something which medium term can pay off. It's not only about technology, by the way. Today, customers are really demanding. I would say user in general are really demanding. Not sure whether it's because of the new technology or because of new funny application, such as Twitter, WhatsApp, or Facebook, or something similar. Maybe all those type of application changed completely the way we interact. As I say, this is not only about customer, it's also about ourselves. I'm sure we tend to be always on, maybe using, let's say, or try to get information anytime from anywhere, even if we are on the bus, on the subway, on the train. So we tend always to be connected with our community, and moreover, we also have a kind of, let's say, feeling that we can get the information we want and when we need it. So, not sure you have also the same feeling, but sometimes looking at all the online products, of course they work properly, they do what they have developed for, but it comes to me, it seems to me they are just an online representation of a product feature. So in short, it sounds to me that digital is just used as another word for online, to identify the online products. For me, digital is about a kind of transformation. I will call it really evolution, because we cannot stop it, so it will happen anyway. Sometimes it's also a revolution, because we need to change, we need to a bit challenge ourselves. So digital, in short, is something about the full user experience. But let's try maybe to continue with this list of potential challenges, and then we'll see later what we can do with that. When it comes to development, I guess that you got already some interesting experience with regulatory aspects, so like data privacy law, and sometimes developers tend to manage this as a kind of let's say development on top of the features itself that we aim to develop. So just a kind of additional effort on top. And there is also cookie law, for example. This is not bank, by the way. This is, I mean, everywhere, right? So again, it's something which just arrived, and the idea of solving it was, just to do an additional effort on top and make it quickly available somewhere in the web, on the app. And I'm sure it happens also to you, for those who are managing the UI and UX of application. That is something like, I mean, we tend to say, whatever solution around that, it's just jeopardizing my nice UI, because you are putting somewhere banner or disclaimer and so on. So not really funny. And sometimes all this part of regulatory stuff are seen as an additional, as I said, effort on top. We need to accommodate it, and then we are forced to do it, and then we do it. So just to summarize a bit on those challenges, we talk about development, so new skills, new required software solutions, tools, and so on. We talk about the pressure coming from the market. As we said, we cannot change it, it's just there. We need only to take care of this mindset change. And there is a need of fixed rules or requirement. But let's try maybe to share some thought and some questions first. Can we get rid of all those challenges? Somehow I'm questioning myself, as I told you before, working on innovation. I wanted also to ask myself whether they are really challenges, and how somehow we can review all these things, looking into a different perspective. So somehow change our forma mentis, or our, let's say, mindset, okay, and see the same stuff into from a different angle. There is a quote which I found when I was preparing last minute all the slides, and it was inspiring me. So I hope that honestly will also somehow touch you. This is the quote. So a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. So not sure you have seen the Matrix movie, okay? Do you know the story of the two pills? Basically, there was one which was you take it and everything will remain completely unchanged. So you can continue have fun with your challenges. You can continue raising concern, or let's say somehow continue the same attitude, let me say. But if you take the second one, of course, first of all, I can continue with the next slide, which is the purpose I'm here. But I'm sure, anyway, that will be more an optimistic way to see the same challenges. In order to do that, I would like to make a small and quick concrete example. Somehow I will be borderline, or I will stress a lot some concept, but this is just to create a discussion and to make sure that we are all on the same page. So don't focus too much on the details, but on the full picture. So again, some use case around the regulatory requirement that we have seen before. So we need to inform the customer that we want to use cookies, and we want to use the data, and which data we know from customer. Then there is another example. This is more banking oriented, but I guess it's very common. We need to insert a new beneficiary on our system. So basically is a person or a company to who we want to send the money. And of course, manage the transfer itself. So this is about really performing the payment. Again, the second one is also a bank example, but I guess it's very common. In short, traditional approach, we have the regulatory requirement, so let's start adding pop-up everywhere. Let's maybe ask a customer to read hundreds of pages of documents, maybe using the smartphone. And also, let's ask him to flag everywhere and to confirm whatever he didn't read. Insert a beneficiary account. Again, we need to create a new entry on our system, collect all specific details about the person or the company I want to send money to. And the last one is about the real transfer of money. So we need to insert from where I'm sending the money, to who I'm sending the money, which is the reason, and the amount, and of course the date. And please be aware the date must be a working day. So let's try maybe to see the same example, as I said before, from a different angle. So why not, from a regulatory requirement, provide the full control of the data to the customer itself? It means that customer will really get a functionalities or a set of functionalities to see how we are using the data and which data we know from him. Sometimes it will help really to create awareness. An example of this, which recently I got, was about Google, for example. So I'm not here to talk about the company, but just an example of a feature which I've seen. From one day to another, I got a link through an email to a dashboard, and basically the dashboard allowed me to see all the data, the query I made, and even the place I visit, and from which device I used. So basically, somehow I got I start trusting a bit the platform, because I say, okay, they know a lot of data from my side, but I know what they know, and I can even delete completely the account if I want, because I have the power to do it. And the only reason why I didn't manage it, because I got some value back. So at the end, I'm using quite often the Google Maps, so it's not an advertising, it's just, I guess a lot of guys are doing that. And basically, when there was a traffic jam, I got to know it immediately before going after the office. So basically, I got to know a few minutes before going outside the office that there was a traffic jam. And then I decided to take another route. So basically, it was helping me. So that's why if customers see that you are delivering good value through your digital application, I mean, they will accept, I'm sure, the data you are collecting, because they know the purpose. And anyway, they have full control of it. The insert beneficiary, again, removing for a while the privacy stuff. Okay, why not, get all the information we want directly from the data which are already there. So we have data in our local devices. Sorry, we have already data on the social and so on. So we are already somehow making our data in a way public. When it comes to the transfer, is again simplify the process. Why I need to re-enter information which I've done already, which I'm used to do always, and maybe why not add additional information? So why not contextualize the event? Just to be very provocative, I mean, why not taking or get information about the weather condition at the time when I made the payment, or whether I was in my car or in the bus, I was using my mobile phone or my PC and so on. So everything which will help a customer to somehow contextualize the event and see, help him or her to remember that specific event. So, but of course, I presented you the traditional landscape, so the one with the 32 screens and so on. I introduced you somehow this digital new, let's say, layer, let's say, and somehow there is a gap that we need to fill. So the two channels, let's call it this way, are really, really different, and they behave also differently. So the traditional, for sure, alone cannot support the demand from the digital. So we need something to evolve to this new ecosystem. So filling the gap, it means that we have somehow to find a way to decouple the complexity of these two worlds and simplify the entire landscape and whatever is the development cycle around that, and extend the available data. So the one which we currently have and are strictly related to a feature, they are not enough. In order to do that, I'm sure there are a lot of ways, and you will see today other speakers talking about the API, but let's consider this service layer not as a one single box, but as a logic representation of services which can help extending the data I was talking about before. On the other hand, we need to define which are on this service layer all the enablers which can really boost this technology or this digital roadmap. So the use of API services can be one, the way to distribute the services to make them available everywhere, to extend or to enhance platform to be really platform as a services, so to remove all constraints which are connected between physical hardware and a specific operating system. So in short, even introduction of Docker or microservices approach can help us to boost this digital roadmap. So if you want to quickly represent graphically all these things, as I said, we have the platform, so let's get rid of the complexity of the single hardware itself, just move as a kind of platform as a services, the cloud-oriented approach, so that we can get rid of the complexity of managing the operating system somehow, and with help also the use of Docker, for sure we can remove the dependency between all those services and the operating system dependency. I will not tell you how to design those services. I will also participate to one of the next workshop to continue learning that. But of course, define the sizing of the services will be relevant. It's too big, too small. I don't know whether it's good or not. It really depends. I'm not sure there is a kind of concrete answer, but it's always based on the need. And to run this way, so the microservices and Docker, I'm sure this can really help to boost this digital roadmap. Let's quickly maybe define what is digital for me in this context, so we are sure we are all aligned. I'm talking about a way to manage, of course, digital signals, despite its voice or video, I don't care. And the technology is, there is something which can generate, store, process data. So I will use this digital topic just to identify stuff which can be used from anywhere and fully online. So in short, everything is mobile, of course, smartphone, tablet, netbook, notebook, desktop. This is what I'm considering right now as a digital channel, just to contextualize a bit the speech. And I would like also to emphasize the opportunity around those channels, as they are really something which help us to directly get in touch with the people, so without any intermediate step. And some of this device, by definition, is also trusted from a customer perspective, especially when we talk about, you know, the smartphone. And do you know how many smartphones currently we do have worldwide? I guess it's more than 2 billion. So you can understand the opportunity beyond these devices. Let's maybe invest then few minutes to understand some number around that. When we talk about the digital channels identified before, we are talking around 50% of mobile users and around 45% desktop user, and the rest around 5 they are tablets. And yeah, that's are important numbers because really depends on what you have in mind and what you want to develop. They can be really interesting to take in consideration. And when we talk about the iOS market share, is about 37% Windows, and Android is very close to it, and 12% is iOS operating system. But interesting, if you get rid of the desktop for a second, then the numbers are really completely different. So close to 70% is Android world, and 25% is iOS, and the rest is divided or split across multiple operating systems. Yes, this is again to share with you some interesting figure, and so if you have in mind to develop something, you can also take those numbers in consideration. So around 4 million, I guess, more or less, 1.2. I- all application are on the Google Play and Apple Store, and there is a small part, 600 around, on Windows, Amazon, and then a small one in BlackBerry, in the BlackBerry world. Um, is again about opportunities. So you can decide to compete with the 4 millions app, or you might decide, depending on your wish, on what you aim to do, to focus on a niche market like the BlackBerry one. So it's again, depends how you see the stuff. Um, and this is also interesting when we talk about revenues. It was recently announced that $40 per US iPhone user are spent or were spent in 2016, which is quite interesting amount. And according to also Statista, iOS app generate 8K per month revenue per developer, and Android around 5. Again, is about opportunities. But you know why? The digital itself is not, despite it representing a good opportunity, is not enough anymore. So you have seen it already. So the traditional, this new kind of service layer opportunity, the digital channels and so on, but now there is also the real ecosystem. So the real, the reality, I mean. So whatever is about proximity, payments, whatever is about beacon management, is about Internet of Things. So it means that as more we go, we see lot and lot new opportunities, and the real part is what we feel to be interesting. Also, bank already piloting there a lot of new stuff, and play a bit with this Internet of Things matter. Again, quick picture on the Vision 2020. We are talking about 4 trillion revenue opportunity. So you can understand what the attention there. And when it comes to Beacon itself, as I said, banks are already there and they're already piloting interesting feature. It's something you can quickly and easily develop by using this Bluetooth low energy or even the sound. So same objective you can reach just reusing the sound. And this is really interesting because again we'll go in the direction of making our customer really happy to make sure that we have good interaction and in the right context and in the right location. But of course technology is not enough, and then sooner or later you need to deal also with some interesting organizational stuff, and you need somehow to make sure that also processes and organization it's following the same direction. Just quickly, I will show one picture as we started a bit on delay. We are running out of time. About the technology. So we talk about development, we talk about tools, we talk about digital devices and so on, and we talk about organization. The right mix of all these items is, from my perspective, the solution. This is what I experienced myself. So to make sure that you have the right tools is not enough. But to make sure that you have the right tools, that you are really using in the right way, that you really engage your team, that you really engage your customers. So the combination of all of this is the right way. So in short, before closing the speech, I guess in the past, all the financial industry was not a very attractive environment for developers, especially for the one which I called before the digital developer. In reality, this type of industry is is becoming to be more and more digital, and not only in terms of solution, which we talk about a bit, but also in terms of organization. So developer are really playing an interesting role there, and they are really somehow helping us to boost this type of transformation. And as I said, what you have seen in short is something which it's based on my personal experience, so it's something which happened already. All IT department in this type of financial industry now are seen as a real department. It's not like a facility or a commodity as before, but the adoption of this kind of fintech mindset approach is really helping this sector to move forward through this digital journey. And this is also somehow demonstrated by the huge investment of all the banks in this specific sector. Saying that at the end of my speech, I would like to thank you for your patience. I hope that I didn't bore you so much. And if you feel you want to stay somehow digitally in contact with me, that's my LinkedIn account. Of course, I hope that we will have some opportunity after to meet some of you and get some interesting feedback. Even completely different view will be accepted anyway. Thank you so much.